There is a new rumor gaining traction around the league, and it involves a name that many Boston Celtics fans did not expect to hear in trade conversations this early in the offseason discussion: Peyton Pritchard. According to reports circulating around the NBA media landscape, the Houston Rockets could be monitoring the Celtics guard as a potential trade target once the season ends. And when this type of speculation starts appearing in respected outlets, it immediately raises a serious question about Boston's long-term plans. Before we go deeper into this story, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and press the hype button right now. If you follow Boston Celtics news every day, this is the place where the biggest developments break first. Now let's talk about why this rumor is getting attention. Analyst Dan Favale from Bleacher Report recently pointed to Pritchard as one of 3 guards who could logically fit what Houston is building. The other names mentioned were Tyler Herro and Ryan Rollins. The logic is simple. The Rockets want secondary ball handlers who can space the floor, create their own shot, and keep the offense organized when the primary option is not initiating the play. And when you look at Pritchard's production this season, the argument becomes clear. In 63 games during the 2025 to 2026 season, he averaged 16.9 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 5.4 assists per game. He shot over 46% from the field and more than 36% from three-point range. That is elite efficiency for a guard who often plays a secondary role. There is also another layer to this conversation. Rockets head coach Ime Udoka already coached Pritchard in Boston. That familiarity mattered. Coaches trust players they know. But here is the part that makes this rumor complicated. Brad Stevens would need a very strong offer to even consider moving Pritchard. His contract is extremely team-friendly and keeps him in Boston for 2 more seasons after this one. So the question now becomes unavoidable. If Houston decides to pursue this aggressively in the offseason, could the Celtics actually receive an offer big enough to force a real decision about Peyton Pritchard? Or is this the beginning of a much larger trade conversation that nobody in Boston expected to happen this summer? A new offseason rumor involving the Boston Celtics is starting to circulate across the NBA media landscape, and this time, the name at the center of the conversation is Sam Hauser. Reports suggest that 2 teams could be monitoring the Celtics shooter closely as the offseason approaches. The New Orleans Pelicans and the Washington Wizards are now being linked to Hauser in potential trade discussions, and that immediately raises an important question about Boston's roster plans. According to analyst Dan Favale from Bleacher Report, Hauser is exactly the type of player many teams look for when they want to strengthen their perimeter offense. Favale described him as a shooter who fits in almost any system, and when you examine the numbers, the reasoning becomes clear. During the 2025 to 2026 season, Hauser has appeared in 62 games and is shooting 41.2% from the field and 39.1% from three-point range. He is attempting nearly 7 three-point shots per game, which shows the level of confidence the Celtics coaching staff has in his spacing ability. Another detail that deserves attention is his role within the rotation. Hauser has started 34 games this season, stepping into the lineup whenever the Celtics needed reliable floor spacing. Just days ago, on March 8, he scored 15 points against Cleveland while hitting 5 three-point shots. In the following game against San Antonio, he added 11 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. That type of consistency is valuable, especially for teams looking to stretch the floor around their primary stars. However, there is another layer to this situation that cannot be ignored. Favale also pointed out that Boston is no longer operating in a tax avoidance mode, which could make Hauser less available than some teams might hope. At the same time, Washington's financial flexibility could allow the Wizards to act as a third team in a larger deal involving Boston. And this is where the conversation becomes more serious. Sam Hauser has quietly become one of the most reliable shooters on the Celtics roster. If 2 teams are already exploring trade possibilities before the offseason even begins, The pressure around Boston's front office could grow quickly, so the question now becomes unavoidable. If the Pelicans or the Wizards decide to push aggressively for Sam Hauser this offseason, would the Boston Celtics actually consider moving one of their most dependable shooters? Or is this rumor the early signal that a much bigger trade scenario could be developing behind the scenes? A new development inside the Boston Celtics organization is beginning to draw attention, and it involves a young player who may be approaching a decisive moment in his career with the franchise. According to reports from people close to the team, the Celtics front office could soon make an important decision regarding Ron Harper Jr., and after what happened this week, that decision may now carry even more weight. Harper Jr. delivered the most impactful performance of his 2025-2026 season during Boston's matchup against the San Antonio Spurs. Coming off the bench, the 25-year-old guard scored 22 points, shooting 8 of 11 from the field and an impressive 6 of 9 from three-point range. He played 33 minutes in that game, matching the highest workload of his young NBA career. The performance was not only efficient, it came at a very particular moment. With Peyton Pritchard sidelined because of a neck issue, Harper Jr. received extended minutes and took advantage of the opportunity. Until that night, he had been averaging just 4.1 points in roughly 11 minutes per game across 19 appearances. That sudden jump in production immediately caught the attention of the coaching staff. Head coach Joe Mazzulla spoke about his progress after the game and made it clear that the organization values more than just scoring. According to Mazzulla, Harper Jr. continues to improve on both ends of the floor, with defensive effort becoming a major part of his development. That type of versatility is exactly what Boston looks for in rotational players. But there is another factor making this moment even more important. The Celtics are approaching a league deadline that requires them to maintain at least 14 players on the active roster. Boston currently has open roster spots, and decisions must be made soon. One rookie, Max Shulga, is expected to take one of those openings because of his low salary cap impact. That leaves another position under serious evaluation. And this is where things become urgent. Ron Harper Jr. is currently on a two-way contract, but the Celtics hold his rights and could convert that deal before the offseason arrives. The question now gaining traction around the league is simple but significant. After this breakout performance, and with roster decisions approaching quickly, are the Boston Celtics preparing to make a definitive commitment to Ron Harper Jr. before the rest of the NBA even gets the chance to pursue him? The Boston Celtics walked into Oklahoma City knowing the challenge would be serious. Facing the defending champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the expectation was a high-level battle. And that is exactly what happened. Boston lost the game 104-102, but the reaction inside the locker room told a very different story. According to Peyton Pritchard, this result should not be viewed as a failure. The game itself was decided in the final seconds. After a late free throw from Chet Holmgren put Oklahoma City ahead by 2 points, the Celtics still had one final chance. With less than 1 second remaining, Peyton Pritchard launched a three-point shot from more than 30 feet. The attempt was on target but fell just short as the buzzer sounded. Despite the defeat, Pritchard made his message clear after the game. In his view, the Celtics proved something important. Boston went head-to-head with one of the strongest teams in the league and did it on the road. Even more significant, they did it without two key players, Jason Tatum and Derek White. There were moments where Boston controlled the game. The Celtics built a lead of 12 points and forced the Thunder to respond. Jaylen Brown led Boston with 34 points, and the team also received contributions from young players like Hugo Gonzalez, Ron Harper Jr., and Jordan Walsh. Pritchard himself added 14 points, including a three-pointer just before halftime that energized the team. Of course, Oklahoma City had its answer. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander delivered a dominant performance with 35 points, including 14 in the fourth quarter alone. That surge shifted the momentum late. Still, Pritchard believes the bigger picture matters. Boston is now 43 wins and 23 losses, holding the second position in the Eastern Conference. And according to him, Games like this expose the small details teams must improve before the postseason, which raises a serious question about the Celtics moving forward. If Boston can push the defending champions to the final possession even without key stars, what happens when this roster is fully healthy and playing at full strength? If you follow Boston Celtics news every day, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and press the hype button right now so you never miss the next major update.